Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Factorio Megabase. My name is Dune, and today we're just kind of smoothing things out from building the copper smelting outpost that was done the last two episodes. One thing I apologize, last episode I realized my microphone was muted in the Streamlabs OBS mixer, and I really apologize for that. I should look for a muted mic before I even begin. So everything I went and explained, I hope you can get through watching the video. So down here is our new copper lab or outpost. It's doing quite well. It's got an average of 300,000, which is excellent. It means we need to be sending more trains down here to pick up their plate. We also I moved about half the trains that were mining copper or bringing copper ore from the upper half that were mining in the southern half to the southern copper smelter, which makes sense. It's adding more copper and then adding more copper mines to the north side. And I purposely chose the upper right quadrant so that trains would come from that direction and not kind of get in the mess of the area between the iron outpost and the circuits outpost. So we're just going to keep an eye on that. Today I really no agenda, just tweaking things, looking for breakages. Hopefully the reason we built the new copper outpost was green circuits was horribly hindered by the fact that it just wasn't getting enough copper. We still have a number of trains in the stacker requiring green circuits, which is a problem. So the best we can do is just keep sending more materials. So for like instance here, I really could use another signal right there. Fortunately, it's really not worth sending myself all the way up there just to do that. So for now, I'll put a ghost image, and the next time I'm up there, my bots will put it in place. We also probably need a signal here. The problem with that, you don't want these to be big blocks that if a train is going through there, if it's either on either side of where those ghost signals are, it could theoretically block another train. But a train blazing through like that copper train just did wouldn't be that much of a problem. We could probably put a rail signal there. That would get at least one of these trains in here waiting to get going, so it wouldn't have to go as far to go load up. It would still stop before this chain signal. So as we can see by hovering the mouse over it, we have 3 iron trains in the system and 1 copper. Well, now 3 and 2. It's when in fact green circuits requires 1.5 copper to each iron plate. So if we look at the number of trains coming here, iron trains we have 10, and copper trains we have 6, 9, 12. So we really should have probably 3 more trains to make that 1.5 to 1 ratio. So let's do that. Let's create 3 new trains that will grab copper plate from our new foundry and bring it up to green circuits. Grab some fuel. And then we want to grab from our new copper load south, inventory full, and then take it to green circuits, copper unload, and inventory empty. Before we send it, let's copy it with the shift right click. Then we can send it off and begin again. 2 locomotives on one side, 4 cars, and again 2 locomotives facing the other direction. Grab 4 fuel, put 1 in each. Shift left click to paste and send the train off. And one more time. 2 locomotives, 4 cars, 2 more locomotives, and grab some fuel and put it in there. The control left click to put what's in the cursor in there, and then shift left click to paste and send the train off. It's kind of gonna busy this intersection with plate coming north. Blinking lights are those 2 signals we just put down that are ghost images. And then these ones over here are miners saying, pick me up, pick me up. And the reason they're blinking is because they are inside the construction zone, the green or orange of a roboport. If they are further out, like at another mining outpost, this has an X. It's a mod I have that if a miner no longer has resource to mine, it automatically gets marked for deconstruction. This one's not blinking because there's no roboport nearby. And let's kind of look at production in other places. Steel's a little down at 85,000 per outpost average. Down but not low. Low would be where the minimum is 20K. Steel, I'm sorry, is a pretty slow thing to make. It's 5 iron plate per steel, and steel as it is still takes a while to land the right spot. Steel. 17 seconds to make 1 steel bar at a normal speed. It's pretty darn slow. And I've got these guys up to 9 crafting speed, which is, you know, helps a lot for sure. It's still like 1 every 3 seconds or so. It's probably, if I don't know, 9.4 crafting speed into 17 seconds is probably not 3, it's like 2 something, or not even 2, but if you just watch one of these inserters, it doesn't seem to be going every 2 seconds. So I'm not sure. Could also have to do with my FPS UPS, which is just under 30 at the moment, which means the game's probably playing at half speed. My pollution's almost zero, so as we can see the last time looked at it's even smaller now. It's pretty much all gone. I turned off pollution to hopefully increase FPS, UPS. It really doesn't seem to have done that. It seemed to for a while. I was playing at near 40 UPS after being down to under 20. Probably just more trains and so forth making the game slower or something. I don't know. I mean, my game keeps growing every day I play it, so it's definitely going to be having an effect. Also up to 300k average copper with the new smelter, because literally these trains aren't waiting to come in and unload and load. So you're kind of wondering why I have these set up like this. I was explaining last time, but I mentioned my micro's muted. Taking each of these, add them all together. So if you look at these, it's a mixture of yellow, red, and green. And we're dividing the red by 10 and making that adding to the copper ore, in this case, ore on the south side and plate on the north side, because those are incoming plate trains and the south side are incoming ore trains. And that just helps me understand how many trains are in the stacker, because otherwise you'd have to hold all the trains back at the stacker and use this value back here. By allowing the trains to basically creep all the way up to just before the loading station or the unloading stations, we can count them as well. And by having these so close together, the rail signals, is we can actually accommodate a moving train. Because most of the time, these trains are moving fairly well, but we can count that one train that just came in as a train the whole time it was on the stack or on this lane. So you can see this is outputting a 1 the whole time that train was going by. So that's fairly helpful. And we also set up lights on the last episode, so at a glance we can tell which outposts are closed to trains and which outposts are open to trains. Even if there's no train in the station, for instance this one over here on the right, its plate is higher than the average, and therefore ores not being requested. We only want ore to go trains that are less than the average. And the same with pickups. So if the station's green, its station is greater than average. In this case it was 4, which is now just dropping below average. Now it can't be helped that the stations closest to the input will go first. It just can't be helped. It's just the way the pathing mechanism works. It tries to send the train to the closest station possible. Well, that's definitely doing good. So those new trains we just sent up here to the green circuits, they might be helping out here. Let's see how many copper trains now we have in the system. That's good. We're about even or slightly above with copper trains in the system. It's the way it should be. Problem is my stackers for this may not work so well. I really didn't leave a whole lot of room to put in stackers for basically 3 trains coming in, or 3 different types of trains. You put it all in one stacker, but then you can't count what type of train is in the stacker. Unfortunately, you can't read the rail signal and actually get the contents of the train, or at least I haven't seen how. So one thing to note is we now have, I know it's saying 4 copper, but once, say we got up to 6 copper, all the stations would be then available. Right now it's only allowing it to go to green. We didn't set up lights for these ones. Means you have to kind of zoom in and eyeball the actual chain signal, which is not nearly as efficient. So like this one's red even though it doesn't have a train in there. It would be easier just to see a light. And that could be something we do. You know, not everything in the megabase build is building new outposts. It's just refining the ones you have. Or adding nice touches, maybe like railroad crossings. Like if you find yourself walking afoot, just maybe put in some way to get across the tracks without getting run over. Or basically feel like you can jump right in front of a train and not get run over. I tend to keep my eye on the mini-map and the signals. So like if this changes to yellow just before I'm about to cross, well, I know a train's about to cross. So, or if it's, you know, so like these just turned to yellow, you can see a train was on its way, but it was off screen when those turned to yellow. Turn off that pollution in there. It's not nearly as dire looking as it was before. My whole screen was one big red blob when pollution was at its height. I don't like the fact that I had to turn it off because now biters won't attack. They won't be aggroed and therefore won't attack. And that was actually part of my fun is having biters constantly chewing at my defenses. But a computer can only handle so much. And you have to choose, do you want your fun of building the factory over fighting off biters, or did you want to fight biters? So that's certainly an option. So I got a new microphone this last weekend, the Blue Yeti, and today the boom arm came for it. So the microphone's no longer on my desk, but it hangs in front of one of my extra monitors. So I kind of have some of that blocked off, but hopefully the sound's better for you guys. My short usage of it in the last couple days of the mic sitting on the desktop itself is actually fairly nice. So I'm hoping the way I got it placed now, you won't hear my clicking from my Razer Synapse so much. The keys for the Razer Synapse are very loud. I think they call them something like mechanical keys or something. There's some reason. I mean, they make them sturdier, but at the same time, they're quite loud. I started using external side keyboards, gosh, 5-10 years ago. They do take some getting used to, but once you do, you never want to go back to a regular keyboard, because there's all sorts of buttons at your fingertips that are suited for gaming. You know, there's a button I can use to in games when you're with other players. You can press to talk, and it's right next to my thumb. I can press it, and it can, you know, I use pause when I'm for that key that's pushed to talk, because you don't use pause button in multiplayer games. So it's a perfect key to use to talk, but on the keyboard itself, pause is in an awkward place at the top right side of the keyboard. And you know, you got your hand, at least for me, I have my right hand on the mouse, so it's hard to press that pause key. And for a left hand, say it's on the left side of the keyboard, just using the regular, you know, SDF or ASDW. I used to use SDF and E, so that's why it's sort of stuck in my head. Anyway, so pause is a perfectly good key for communicating to players in a push-to-talk situation. I used to use tilde, but somebody recommend, I'm a part of a clan. You may or may not have heard of them. I don't know whether advertising is PRX. Anyways, these guys, these are professional gamers. It's actually the professionals is kind of our moniker. Recommended the pause key, and I thoroughly agree. Pause is the perfect key for a key you'll never use. So this section area down here, where the copper's coming in, we have the iron smelter here, input here, and copper here. Should have maybe anticipated the number of trains addition that's going to be flowing through here, and maybe find some way to mitigate it. Which I did up here for the other one, is I would bring copper of trains coming in this way and get them so they didn't take this full right hand or left hand turn on a circle. So if I do that down here, even once the stone goes away, or I can even make it cross that stone track for now, is, you know, trains, copper ore trains coming in this way. It could, either copper ore or copper plate trains could come in here and get on the inside before, you know, hitting the circle would help. It's like this train here is coming to copper load, and it just slows down a circle by having trains making full left turns. And I might even do that with the iron ore now, because this intersection's getting a little slow. It's not horrible, it's just slow. So let's do something like that. That's a useful task. So we'll need some extra track. Let's just grab a bunch. And then we did put in a new waypoint when we built this. So S2 to south. I wish the zoomed out look wasn't quite so blocky looking. I suppose it's a trade-off for speed. Now, theoretically, as these patches get mined, more and more trains will be coming from this direction up into here instead of making this left. But there will still be the plate trains coming this direction. So we'll get out here and then we'll send the train to our new copper station south. So it's out of the way. Kind of dodgy there on that train, but not horrible. So something like so. It's probably a little too sharp of a corner. Yeah. Kind of want it to parallel so these tracks are equidistant apart. Hey, stole fuel from me. Oh, let's put up our temporary train here, put some fuel in it. Rotate a second. It looks like it's going to need a bridge segment. So we'll use some bridge rails. So the best way for this to work is to remove, I mean, they'll probably, to remove the other entrances. So the train has no choice but to use this track. For now, I don't think that's quite as important. Right now we just want to give it a faster alternative, which I'll probably do because this would speed up its access. So it'll be a copper only track, and so theoretically only copper trains would be using it. Probably should have brought more rail signals, but alright, so someday we might have a waypoint here, so let's just kind of go from right here. Alright, so, and this will be a right-hand drive track. Put that there. We can use a rail signal there. Chain signal there. Rail signal there. Should do it. No, that's fine. Okay, if you didn't know, you can rotate your train while in it. Probably going to need a lot more rail signals than I have on me for what we've planned. So we'll put these a little further apart than I would like to do. I'd like to put them kind of close together. Whoa. done by accident. Just a single click, put it in multiple places. This add-on that allows me to do bridges. I can put the signals on the water next to the track. Where's that last one? Kind of overextended. Now currently no trains coming up behind me because I don't actually have this track ahead connected to anything. So there's no reason for a train to come this way. So now I don't know if you knew, but you can rotate also where the signal's attached to. In this case, since we wouldn't have any other option for this incoming track, so we'll put it. Oops, that's not where I wanted it. I want to rotate it so it's hopefully affecting this as well. Seems to be because of the blue, even though it didn't put a train car thing on there. And since this is both an in and an out, we're going to need the rail signal and a change signal for when a train's coming back this way. And we have plenty of room on the other side for for the signals. Now I prefer these to be one section wide, so maybe I ought to drop that down. Move some of these trees so I can see what I'm doing. Not quite sure I can make that angle. Actually, I can. Because basically what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to connect these if you wanted to. And you can do that with two curved sections if they're 4 belt pieces apart. When I say 4 belt pieces, it's like so. I have a mod that disables my RoboPort when I get into a vehicle. It's super helpful, but at the same time, I kind of forget about it sometimes. Okay. One thing here is we didn't really need this exit for this track. We don't actually have anything coming out. So we don't need that track. What I am thinking I might want to do is split these so that a little sooner, so that trains coming in do something like so. But how to do this new section? So basically, we want it to be, I want to do it something like so. So that train's waiting is because my train's on the block it's trying to use. So we can't quite put that right there. We need to put it a little like something so. Where are you trying to go to? Or I thought I put a... Why can't you get to where you're going? I'm a little confused on that. Is it because of that signal in this one? No. Is it because this track doesn't actually connect? Let's try driving it and see. It connects. If I get out and set you back to automatically, you go? Yes. Alright, he was just confused. I do have trains now coming in behind me. Hi, my little guy. I'm going to steal some fuel from these trains so I can pick this guy up. Now in areas you're walking, you probably want to take some trees from them. I know they're sort of attractive additions, but they're also dangers. So I don't have many rail signals in this section. That should help. One of the things I can also do is maybe grab them before this intersection. Not as key, I don't think. But we're also thinking of taking this iron ore that's keep coming up this way and shifting it over earlier. It's kind of weird because it would be cutting across this, which would then require it to then cut across this down here. Not sure how much that improves things. I really wish Factorio would add some sort of like underground track. That would be sweet. And that's not an accurate count. I should be counting ore trains unloading, and there's 1, 2, 3 trains unloading plus the 2 potentially in the stacker. So I do that over at steel. I'm guessing I have something converting the iron coming in. Actually, I don't need to in this case. I'm only counting red signals. It's only one type of train. So up at green circuits we do that. Right. So we're taking the red signal, converting it to a copper plate, and counting that. So we're not doing that here. We kind of could do that. Interesting side effect having this bridge, beautiful bridge railways, or something that mod is called. So you can actually walk through these big power poles. That's always bothered me in the vanilla game. It's because these things can be placed on water, I guess. But it's a nice addition. So we definitely want to count the trains in station unloading as part of the number of trains in the stacker, so we know we can, if say we have 4 trains unloading and we have 2 here, then that means the system knows, oh well, let's just stick those in the 2 remaining slots. So if the number of ore trains unloading is equal to the total number of stations available, well then send it to all of them. Send them all of them. If there's not enough, of course, then only prioritize them to the stations that don't have enough iron, or copper plate. So we want to take an arithmetic. And we want to read just this one signal. Actually, yeah, I think so. We just only want a single value. And I put red. I meant to put green. Green cable, so we only get the one red because that green cable's not connected to anything else. So we got a single red coming in. We take that red and we add it to nothing. So 1 red plus 0 is 1 red, but we're going to output copper ore. So when a train's sitting here, it's considered one copper ore train, which it is. And then our ore is on the green cable. So output a green cable of that to here, and now it's increased. And then we need to add that to each of these. So right click that blueprint. So we want that power pole and rail signal and that combinator. So we don't need that combinator. We don't need those rail signals. We don't need that robo port. And we could say that converting red. So when we look at the blueprint, we know it's something like that, what we want. Double check it. So one green coming from that rail signal to the power pole. We ought to be able to just run around and slap that down. Since all these stations should be the same. Auto saves on megabases. Well, at least my megabase is pretty slow. Alright, last one. So now we should have, so it's saying we have 7 copper ore trains, and so all these trains should now flow. Should. No, it's saying we have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4. Something's off here. It's saying we have 6 of them now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Somehow we got a number wrong. So we're off by 1. No, there's 3. There's 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why can't I count right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's saying we have 6. Somehow I'm getting a number wrong. This should be outputting 3. There's 3 trains in there. Outputting 3, that's correct. So we have 8, because this is red, that's 1. It's outputting a 1. That was outputting a 3, that's 4. One of these is somehow putting out too many. It's outputting a 1. It's outputting a 1. It's outputting nothing. It's outputting a 1. Outputting a 1. Outputting nothing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be 4-ish right now. 4. I guess it's saying 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should have 5. And it's saying 6. Now it's saying 5. This is outputting a 2. And that's correct. fun with circuits. It's inputting or outputting a 1. That's totally correct. I don't understand. Somehow I'm sending the wrong signal somewhere. We should have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's saying 7 currently. But that train was coming out. So right now it should say 6, but it's saying 7. Well, I don't know if I'd call this an easy way to fix this, but it's a way. Or to kind of get an idea. So I don't have to keep running back here. This is going to close signal when black is greater than 0. And we'll put a constant combinator right here. And we'll set black as 1. And we'll attach that to here. And that should stop any more trains from coming this direction. So this is getting 36 green and 1 black. So as soon as these trains empty, seeing we have 4 in system, we have 1, 2, 3. We're going to find out which one's wrong. Well, now we got these 2. Because this signal's red, no trains can come here. Because all their chain signals are red. Alright, 1's leaving. So, just so I'm not... let's remove this green cable. So we have a 2. 1's leaving. We should have a 1. When we have a 1. Turn this off for a second. Send 1 train in. Turn it back on. And we should have a 2. And we do. And when that one leaves, we should have a 1. Send another train in. I actually just sent 2 trains in. I'm going to change this to manual so he doesn't leave. Change this to manual so he doesn't leave. So we should have 3. We have 3. Manual. I just want to find out which station is sending out 2. Sending out a 2 value. So I'll send in a train. And then block it. Why did that get stopped? Why aren't you coming in? Because these are all red. These are all red. We can fix that momentarily. Let's put another constant combinator. Well, it changed on its own, but we can fix it. We can artificially inflate that copper value if we want to. Connect that to there, and then we can, set a copper value. So is this the one that just came in? Nope. Where is he? I'll set him to manual. So we should have a 4. Yes, we have 4 trains in. Send in another train. We have 5. All right, send in another train. Yeah, we're gonna have to add a constant so it knows that there's 6 trains. We'll turn that off because we want it to count itself. So as soon as it gets in the station, that should be 6, and it's 6. I don't get it. Why we're getting incorrect numbers. Well, here isn't this one that just came in. Let's set them to manual. And then let's load our stacker, our inline stacker. And we should have, well, those aren't connected. But this should start putting, this has got 2 trains on it. And 3 trains on it. So 3 plus our 6, that's off, so it's not counting that. So if I, plus we got, what, 3, that's might be the problem. What's this outputting? A 3. That's correct. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Should be outputting a 4. That's correct. So we should have 4, 7. That should be a 7. That's correct. And this should be 6. I'm not quite sure what the issue is. Connect these back up. And start sending these trains automatically in. Of course, it's going to take a while for this. Start to give me weird signals again, I'm not sure. So we have 7 trains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, that was 8. 4, 6. Should say 6. Maybe it just needed me to clear that system out. I don't know. Should say 5. Total's 5. 1, 2, plus 3 here. So yeah, it should only be going to the green ones. Should be loading up there and here. Just slow to choose to do so. One thing we did the other one, which it looks like we kind of need to do. First, let's put in a station that they actually can't get to. It's actually really easy to do. In this circumstances, you just put out a piece like so. Grab a station, you stick it there. Then you put a rail signal in here. Then you wire it up to anything. You can say you can connect it to actually can't. Never mind. So you wire it to that. You close signal when so let's just, you can't set it to that. Just do the deconstructor. Deconstructor equals 0. There. And then we set that to copper ore unload. Shift right click, shift left click. That will always be green, but that signal will always be red, and so a train can never get there. Then what we can do, alright, what area does that cover? Okay, so let's put the decider just inside here. Green wire from the station to the decider, and then let's green wire back out's probably fine. Okay, so we're gonna read the stop train that puts it out on T. You can change it if you want, anything you want, but T is what defaults as and I'm used to. So we say if T is actually, let's not use a decider, let's use an arithmetic. Make it a little easier. So wire the input and output all to green. Do T plus 0, output T. And then you enable disable when T equals 0. Enabled when T equals 0. As soon as the train arrives, T is the train number. Well, trains all have a number, and they're all positive values. So when a train arrives, this will get T, and then it will disable itself. And then as soon as the train hints that it even wants to leave, it will re-enable itself. Copy that and set it on all the stations. What this helps do is it's the pathfinder that is having difficulties finding an open station, but it has no problem skipping stations that are closed. So if a train's sitting there, like in this circumstance, now that's out, that's copper unload station is disabled, and now that one's disabled. And the station, the pathfinder will have an easier time finding it. So Like this one here, it's got 1K left. It's not so obvious, but that one's disabled. See, these trains really want to come into the first one, but when you disable the station, it goes, oh, well, I guess I can't go there, and it goes elsewhere. It's a real neat trick when it seems like trains are pausing when stations all have the same name. And can't seem to find the open station. But if you disable those stations that have trains, so here in this circumstances we have 5 disabled stations and 1 open one. And these ones are disabled incorrectly. Why? T equals 0. Alright, something I did wrong here. I'm not sure what. Enabled when T equals 0. So T, for some reason, is 1.66. Why? Does it continue to read the previous? I don't think so. If I disable that. It's saying 1.6G. What's 1.6G mean? We definitely want that. Alright, well, I was trying a little shortcut there. Well, we can output a different value, say E. And then set E if E equals 0. I don't think that'll make any difference. But maybe it is. Let's reset those down, because that one re-enabled itself no problem. Actually, I don't have to run around and do that. I actually kind of do. Alright, so apparently I can't reuse, I can't do T to T. That was unfortunate, and I'm not quite sure why, but and we could do this to the plate trains too. Alright, so only the trains that have trains in them. This train's leaving, that turned back to white. Saying the train's station's available, assuming this light would be green. So these trains are going to come out of this the stacker a lot faster and find an open bay. At least it should. See, this one's trying to come in. Quite sure why he's just staying here. no problems finding the ones close. That's green. He should be cruising right along. But because the station's red, it re-picked a new one fast. So this one's going to want to go to the same one that one is. As soon as it pulls in, it disables itself. Now he has an option of picking something else. Well, he actually already had that option. I mean, he could be coming down to, you know, if they were available. Now it's kind of hard to tell if that helped, putting those, but once we had enough trains backed up. See, all those signals are red. Now it's green and it should pull right in. So 1, 2, 6, and 5 should all be green. No, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 6, and 5 all should be red. And the R. So it's only 4 and 3 that are available currently. Oh, now everything except for 1 and 6. Unless we get enough trains in the stacker, which is 6 now, so this guy should come in to either 1 or 6. And the same thing with that guy. He's going to 6. Showing 8 trains, which is right. He wants to go to the same station. As soon as that station disables itself, he repathed instantly. So he should have repathed, in my opinion, when that light turned red. But he doesn't know that this technically is a station. He doesn't know that. But once it disabled itself, then he knew he couldn't go there. Or he didn't know there was a station directly behind, basically, that signal. But once the station disables itself, it refigures out a new place to go. The next closest available station. So this method is really helpful to keep all the stations flowing, because like this guy didn't have, even though he's like, you know, up there, number 1, he had the most amount, but still none of these provider chests had any ore in them. So it allows even more production. And, you know, these smelters can continue to work even if this guy has more ore than, or more plate than anybody else. And since it's the furthest one away, it's, for 1 and 6 to have the most plate is not unusual, because even if, say, you know, 3 here was above average, but not the most, it would still get a train into it first before Station 1 would. And our average continues to go up. It was at 290 something when we first started the episode. Now it's 317. So I mean, that's good news. our intersection here that we just put in this bypass. I'm not sure how many trains have crossed it, but it seems to have helped. So we do, yeah, we have a train coming in on it. And another one. And another one. So yeah, it's definitely helping. You know, all these trains, boom, flown in on this new inner track. Definitely helping the flow of this intersection. There's absolutely no trains on it. Looks like we have a little problem here. Okay, it's this copper mine, which seems to have petered out. Has 2 trains coming to it, which now these iron trains can't get out because this one wants to go this way. And I never did put a stacker in there because this really didn't need it. But we have a new copper mines. How's this doing here? I know this has, whoops, has 4 trains flowing to it. So let's see here. That's not what I want. I'm looking for another southern. That's 55. We have 60. We're 6 stations. I'm not sure 60 is a good one. No, that's 57. Did it say east for 60? No, it said something like southeast for 60. Southeast 1, 2 west. Southeast 1, 2 west. It's this guy here. Has 2 trains. Currently at 40%. It's not awesome, but at the moment we can send one of those trains here. So let's send that to 60. Certainly better in blocking. Inventory full. We'll send him over there. Alright guys, I think I'm going to call it an episode. Thanks for watching, and I will be back with more Factorio in just a few minutes after I take a break. Thanks again for watching.